Hey guys, welcome to my first how-to on the Iron Rod Records YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on a song it's a song called I'll Fight by Daughtry. And it's from their most recent album that was released in November. And it's one of my favorite songs from the album, so I thought we'd go ahead and work on that one today. So I'm going to be doing this song on one of my acoustic guitars. There are some electric guitars that are used in the song, in the chorus and in the bridge, but most of the verses and the part that's probably the hardest part of the song to learn is all on acoustic guitar. So I'm going to go ahead and teach that on acoustic, but just so you know, there are some electric parts in the song. So this song is a little tricky to get the hang of the timing in the verses. The chorus and the bridge aren't too bad, but so we'll work through that slowly and then we'll get to the chorus and the bridge. But this song is on the key of D minor, just so you can kind of get an idea of what chords you'll be working with. So I'm going to be talking about everything in D minor, but it's going to be D minor with capo on the first fret. So it's really going to be D sharp minor if you were to play on like a piano or something. But for our purposes today, I'm just going to be talking about everything in D minor. So you're going to start with your chords that you'll be using in the verse are D minor, and they're all bar chords too for the verses. So you have D minor, and then F all the way up on the 9th fret, and then C, and B flat. And the reason that's tricky for the verses is because the chord progression doesn't work like your normal 1, 2, 3, 4 chord progression. You know, you don't just go from one measure to the next, switching from chord to chord. Each measure has, the way I've divided it up in my head is basically 3 chords and then 3 chords, which is kind of unusual because it's kind of played in a 6/8 kind of format, which is a little unusual for pop music especially. But you know, if you just follow along, I think I can make it understandable for you. So you're going to start on D minor, and it goes. And the first I'll just play the chord progression for you, so you know how it goes. So it goes like this. And it just repeats that over and over during the verses. So it starts out on D minor here, and you just play it 4 times. And then you go up to F and play it 3 times. And then on your 4th strum, you're just gonna come up and play just mute all the strings. So you have this little thing right here. And that's your first 8 strums. And then it comes down to C. And that's the end of the first 3, kind of what I put in my head is the first part of the progression. So it's going to come off like this. And so then as you come into the second part of the progression, you're going to be staying on the C chord. And this is why it kind of gets confusing and why I struggle with it at first, is because when it stays on the C chord, I kind of still envision it as part of that first section of the chord progression. But you know, once you separate it in your head into 2 parts, it becomes much easier. So just remember that the first part of the progression ends on C, and the next one is still on. The beginning of the next progression is still on C. So it's going to come like this, and that's the beginning of the next progression, or the next part of the progression. And then it comes back up to D minor. Back to B flat and down to B flat. So the way the progression works is it's almost exactly the same. It's exactly the same on both ends, just different chords. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then a mute, and then it's like a 1, 2, 3, and then it's the same pattern as far as strumming is concerned for the next part of the progression. Just a different order for the chords. So I'll play it slowly just so you can kind of try to get in your mind how this works. Now, one thing you should know is that during the song, at the end of the second progression, most of the time in the song, that instead of playing this B flat chord twice, you're just going to play it once, and then the drums and the guitar cut off while he's still singing, and then you come back in with the progression just like normal. If you listen to the song, you'll understand what I'm saying. So the trickiest part of this song probably is just that little passage right there, and especially getting the timing right and picking up the speed, because this song is really fast coming through those chords. It's probably right around this speed. And you just keep going through that. So we'll move into the chorus real quick now. This is much easier than that part. That's the hardest part. So if you got that down, you're good to go. So the chorus uses, let me think. The chorus uses all the same chords that the verse does, just in a different order. And if you're playing this on electric guitar, you're going to want to use power chords for the chorus. But just for our purposes today, I'm just going to be using the bar chord for the B flat and the F will be up here, down here instead of up here on the 9th fret. And then open chords for D minor and C. So the way the chorus goes is just B flat, F, D minor, C. And then, so it's 2 lines like that, and then there's a little break where he does the part, I'll fight, and then it comes back in with the ooh, ooh, and if you listen to the song, you know what I'm talking about, and that part, the chord progression is exactly the same, just the B flat, F, and then D minor and C. And the choruses are exactly the same, just that progression over and over, and if you know those chords, that should be really easy for you to pick up. So the last part that we have is just the bridge. And the bridge is very simple. It just starts out on D minor, and then it goes to C. And then the last line of the bridge, it goes to G minor, which is, you haven't used it in the song yet. It's just, I'm using it as a bar and doing the G minor bar chord. And so it kind of just goes like this during the bridge. And then it just goes right back into there's like a pre-chorus that has only acoustic guitar before the electric comes back in. So I'm going to go ahead and play through all of that up until the end of the bridge, just so I don't take up too much time for the video, just so you can kind of see how it all fits together. This is the bridge. And then it just follows that again to the end of the song. So if you're interested in learning any of the chords that I've used, if something doesn't make sense, just shoot me an email at ironrodrecords@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, or if you don't quite understand something, I'll be happy to explain it. And if you're interested in taking guitar lessons, I teach guitar lessons here in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're interested in that, contact me. And if you're also, one other thing, if you have a request for a song for me to teach on guitar, then just shoot me an email and let me know. I try to fill all the requests that I get to teach, to teach any song that you want. And not just on guitar, but bass guitar, mandolin, piano. And I'll try to fulfill, any requests that any of you guys have. So that's all I've got for today. Just keep practicing. If this doesn't come at first, don't worry, it will. It's a tricky song, but it'll come. And thanks guys for watching.